Good morning. Assuming that's morning where you are when you're listening to this, it's morning here while I'm recording it. So this is Ed Schubert responding to Pastor Kyle's request for stories of resurrection. Not quite sure that this is necessarily a resurrection story, either literally or metaphorically, but it's a story of renewal, and hopefully that'll be close enough for his purposes. A little background first, I guess. So those of you who know me know that I'm into plants and horticulture. I've been running the county greenhouse for the last few years, ran a garden center in Virginia for a dozen years. It's something I really enjoy. I've got a collection of bonsai trees here at the house and a collection of odd house plants and that sort of thing. But what probably a lot of you don't know is that everything that I know about plants and plant care and all of that sort of thing, I learned from my father, who recently passed away. So that being said, the one thing that I never really did learn from him or master from him, and it certainly wasn't for lack of effort on his part, was orchids. I can't get them to live very long, much less get them to rebloom. I'll see a nice orchid sometimes in a Lowe's or a Home Depot or a Walmart or something, and I'll go, oh, that's really pretty, and I'll buy it and I'll bring it home for Terry and tell her very directly, okay, this is a really long-lived cut flower because it's going to last, more than a week or so, but eventually it's going to stop blooming and then it's going to die because I just never learned orchids like I learned a lot of other things from my dad. So all of that, I guess, is kind of set up. So when my dad passed away last December, one of the things that my sister and I did was we divided up his collection of houseplants. And he had some pretty interesting stuff. He had some coffee trees that actually produced coffee beans, and he had just all sorts of interesting stuff, including a number of cymbidium orchids, which are they don't have that sort of bulbous pear-shaped leaf like the Phalaenopsis orchids that you usually see in the stores. They have long, slender leaves, more like irises or daylilies, a little bit bigger, a little bit fatter, and then they get these great long arching stems just covered with flowers, a variety of different colors. And my sister kept a couple of them, and I brought a couple of them home with me after the funeral, and I had a house full of plants, and I didn't really have a lot of hope that these were going to survive. They were just too precious to throw away. So I actually put them in the crawl space under my house with a number of other things, and periodically I'd go down there and water them, and was just generally trying to keep them alive. Very low expectations. As I said, just not something I ever, literally ever, have had success with. So one day I go down under the house to water them, and lo and behold, one of these cymbidium orchids is just covered with stalks, with flower blooms. And I was really excited, of course. I pulled it out of the crawl space and brought it up into the kitchen, and called my sister right away to tell her what had happened. And she said that she had just that same day found another one of the orchids that she had kept that also was covered up with flower buds. And we spent the next couple of weeks sort of very excitedly sending each other photographs as these flowers opened up and they bloomed. And in hindsight, saying this now, it almost seems like such a small thing. Oh, this plant got flowers on it. But given that my sister and I had never had any luck with orchids at all, and the fact that we had just lost our father maybe 3 or 4 weeks beforehand, it really in that moment felt like a small act of grace from God, just saying, everything's going to be okay. Life is going to go on. I've got your dad here with me, and he and I decided that what you guys need is a couple of flowers. And so it was it was a small thing, but over the years I've learned that the small things are the way that God talks to us, and I've seen too many small things to dismiss them as coincidences. I don't necessarily believe in coincidences. I believe in God's quiet, gentle hand. And to me, that's what those flowers were. So that's my story of renewal, if not resurrection. Happy Easter. I hope you're all staying safe. Wash your hands and take good care of yourselves. Thanks.